Yeah, Samzansi, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, middle of the week, but it feels like a Friday because we're getting served with so much good stuff. And joining us this morning is professional organizer and interior designer Danny Cohen, founder of A Dash of Danny. And she recently gave us some incredible kitchen organization and storage advice hacks. Today, she's doing something a little bit different, and this is where we're talking about home hacks that will make it easier for all of us to tolerate load shedding. Yes, it's becoming a pain, and being as prepared as we can for each period of load shedding, especially when on a budget, makes the rest of our day a little bit more stress-free. And I know a lot of us are getting caught out. So, Danny, how are we doing this morning?
Good, and you?
I'm so good, excited, because the last time you were here, I was blown away by all the hacks. I've already incorporated a lot of it. So I'm hoping I can add a few of these new hacks to the arsenal. So let's dive straight into it. Load shedding, it catches us by surprise quite
100%.
often. Let's talk about organization first. Why is it important to be organized and be prepared for load shedding? What do you got in that department for us?
I mean, load shedding is officially part of our lives.
It's official, yeah.
It's part of our lives. It's not going anywhere right now. And obviously being organized, I like to make sure that I have the staples to get through load shedding, whether it's 2 hours or 4 hours. As you know, you get that stage 2, a minute later you're on stage 6. So you want to know that you're prepared.
So this is like Danny's list of delights. Excuse the pun. You
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So let's go through this. What have you got for us? Right, so we've got organization. Let's talk about, I want to drink something warm. There's still those cold nights coming through. I don't have electricity. I can't use the kettle. What do I do?
Okay, so usually when Eskom sends you that 55-minute, 5-pass message that we all love, usually I put a time on and I'm like, right, 5-2, I boil the kettle. The best thing to do is get like little thermostats, flasks. This is actually so cute because it's like a little mini kettle.
I thought it was a kettle, actually.
I know, how cute.
Oh, so that's a flask.
Yeah, it's a flask, but it looks like a kettle, which is so nice.
Smart.
And it's like a 1.5, so it actually fills a couple of glasses.
A couple cups, yeah. Maybe one cup for someone like G, but for the rest of us, that'll feed an entire family.
Exactly. So these are absolutely loved. What's nice about this is that now we're going into summer. It's getting a bit warmer.
Yes.
So this also has cold water as well. You can put ice in it, and it also keeps
stuff warm and cold stuff cooler. So you have options. Okay, I like that. So this is something you could kind of like do beforehand and know that. I know generally these things stay hot for quite a while, right?
Yes, generally about between 2 to 4 hours. So perfect for
nice. Okay, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just deal then. All right, next one, moving on from that, all right, we've got like warm drinks, but what happens when we want to warm ourselves up?
So obviously we can't have our electric blankets on, etc., etc. So hot water bottle.
Okay.
So literally, and once again, if you need to rewarm it, you've
got the warm water from. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Your flask,
it's like a collab.
Exactly. So it all works together. And but these generally last. If you fill it a few minutes before, they generally last.
These things are so like pertinent. They work so well.
Exactly.
We use these when we sometimes are lifeguards and we swim in the ocean in the Atlantic side.
Oh,
it's freezing. It's like 8 degrees, 6 degrees.
No, can you
imagine? Pop this in like your vital areas, like underneath the arm, in the groin, where the body loses its heat. It warms you up instantly. I'm just thinking like just sitting on the couch having one of these like wrapped around me. It's like the best pillow ever.
No, literally, it is the best. They really are the best.
I love this. Okay, so we warmed up the tummy with the tea. We warmed up the body. How do we like... What's the one biggest thing that we can't do? We can't see in the dark, right? So like, let's talk about lights, I guess. How do we combat lights? How do we stop ourselves from stubbing our toe and banging our fingers again? What do you got for us in that department?
You can obviously go the romantic route, candles, which I love.
Ambiance.
Of course,
yes.
Exactly. Or obviously, I'm sure this looks familiar to every single body.
I think everybody's aware of the style of light at the moment.
Everybody has one of these.
And it is really vital. I believe you can charge your own things on this as well.
Yes, so usually like the night before or whatever, when there's no load shedding, usually prep and you put it on charge. I usually leave mine on charge most of the time, just to know that I am prepared. Yeah,
so you got that emergency light kind of like plugged in and it's kind of ready whenever that light goes off. I love that,
so I live for that. These are also super cute. They're battery operated as well. It's quite bright, so I'm not going to blind us. They're super cute, and you can hang them in cupboards or pantries or wardrobes, especially first thing in the morning when you cannot see anything. So these are the best. I love them.
Awesome, and then you don't have to like run around with this thing all over the house. And when one person needs used to go to the bathroom, it's like, oh no,
exactly.
who gets the light?
Yeah, which has been happening.
I love
so
this.
These are
Okay.
really cute.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for coming through. This is definitely, you've set the bar when it comes to your hacks, and you've definitely continued with that. Of course, we're going to dive into another conversation with Danny in a bit, but Danny has definitely made us start to think out the box this morning. And as South Africans, we are obviously resourceful and inventive in times of necessity. And what trick do you have that you've maybe learned or created that helps in the home and just kind of makes life during load shedding better? Come through and let us know, and maybe you can share that hack with us. But Danny is going to be back. We're going to have more of this dash of Danny load shedding hacks in just a bit, so don't go anywhere.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Yeah, Mzansi, welcome back. Your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And we have been serving you with all the hacks in the world, and it's carrying on right now. Now, we are back with organizer and interior designer Danny Cohen, and we are going to continue this discussion on home hacks to make load shedding a bit easier. Now, we have already touched on budget-friendly ways to keep warm on the remaining colder evenings of the year. And now we move on to more general tips and tricks ranging from internet connections to wrinkled clothing. Now, Danny's advice is definitely going to help us with this and a whole lot more. I love part one. It seems like we have ticked that box definitely. But let's talk about the rest of this, because obviously there's a lot of other things that are being affected during load shedding, which we didn't touch on earlier. One thing, and I think everybody's going to feel this, is internet. What happens when we lose power? Our router goes down and we don't have an inverter to power it up. What do we do with internet? Because that is like something we all are like dependent on so badly.
No, 100%. And that for me is the most frustrating thing from this whole load shedding. Is
everything relies on internet in our household.
Exactly. You want to watch something or work and you can't, especially when the signal goes bad. So we're completely relying on Wi-Fi. So I actually recently learned this little tip where I'm not too sure what exactly the cords are called, but you can actually plug in from your power bank to the little Wi-Fi router through these little cords. I'm not too sure what they're called, too technical, but literally it works. It's amazing. So as long as your power bank is charged, you plug through the Wi-Fi router, and it actually...
that makes sense. We've got a visual up of this right now for you guys that are watching. So I'm actually looking at this and I'm like, why didn't I think of this earlier? Literally using that same USB output cable that converts into like an AC power cable and plugging it straight into the router. Voila, we have power. I didn't think about that. Right, and that's just with a simple power bank. You could even use an emergency light if it does have power on it as well.
Like a USB and whatever, the ports, you're good.
Just a bit of creativity and that solves that problem. All right, so we've got internet sorted out. We've got other issues then that involves like the fact that, yes, we spoke about things getting warmer, but what happens when we're moving into these warmer months now as well? I mean, we want things to stay cold. The freezer doesn't work. What do we do?
And the aircon and fans.
Yes, all these things don't work. Yeah, forget about this.
The big ones.
This is a problem that we're actually going to definitely experience going into summer right now. So what do we do?
100%. So obviously, ice blocks.
Oh, I was like, is this an organization tray? What is this thing?
Nice.
Okay,
I love them. So there's different, obviously, you get cute ones. But obviously, you prep for it. So you make sure you check your load shedding schedule and pop your ice trays in. It should be okay. And this little nifty trick I absolutely love. So this is like, it's quite cute, but this basically you can pop in the freezer. It's got little ice tubes in it. And you can actually put it around like a bottle of champagne, bottle of wine, Coke, whatever it is.
You wrap it around
you wrap it around it. So it just helps stay a little cooler. So this I absolutely love. I actually haven't seen many of them. So
that's
I love
pretty
them.
clever. And I was just thinking like, maybe just using like the peas and then using like a pea bag to go around there because it could be ice pack or something crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I see where you're going with this.
So
the creativity is really what's standing out here. And I feel like there's a lot of things like this that we could have at home that we should be using, but we're not because we don't know how to.
100%.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the bigger issues and things that we didn't maybe prepare for when it comes to load shedding, and now it's like, shucks, we don't have a gas stove. What do we do when it comes to making food, preparing a good meal? We've got a family to feed. Is there an option? Is there a way around this? Because I can't think of it really.
I know, it's such a struggle, but I feel like I always stick to like cold foods. So prep your sandwiches, salads are always
Yeah, of
nice
course,
to
we could
make.
do that, yeah.
Yeah, just basically anything, unfortunately, on the cold front.
But I guess like it kind of forces a creativity because again, it's
Yes, you
like
can
what can we
experiment.
experiment with when it comes to cold
Yeah.
foods? And then again, the South African tradition, a braai is always something.
A
that we can
braai,
do.
exactly,
Doesn't need
a big
electricity.
one.
Yeah.
Exactly. How could I forget? That's like integral.
I think a fire just serves so much when it comes to South Africans. We just,
Yes.
the minute you hear the crackling of their wood, the minute you hear anything, it's like, it's a vibe, it's a mood. And
100%.
I think that's what you are, Danny, as well. So again, there's so many hacks that you've come through with. I think Mzansi is already grateful for it. But if they get confused with taking all this information in,
Yeah.
I believe you have an online course and an ebook that they can get more of this advice from. Talk to me about that.
So the ebook is completely free. We spoke about it last time.
Yeah.
It's more on the organizational front. Introducing me and what I do. And my online course is actually basically teaching how to become a professional organizer.
Nice.
I've learned so much and I decided to basically do a little online course.
I love that. Thank you. So we can find the
Yeah.
dash of Danny within all of us. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you,
Those are your
Ralph.
life
Thank
hacks
you.
when it comes to load shedding. Danny will hopefully be around for more hacks that can serve us. But if you've got any tips for us, of course, come through on our social media channels and maybe use the number 063 408 8863 because we'd love to know what other hacks you have besides all these incredible ones. Well done.
Thank you.